Alright, this is a ringneck snake. They eat salamanders, little frogs, invertebrates. The reason why they're called ringnecks is because they have a ring around their neck, right there. And they normally live in really damp places. And also a thing that they'll do during a defensive display, which he's not doing, is they'll curl their tail around and show their orange or yellow belly. And they're very docile. They normally don't bite. I've never been bit by a ringneck snake.
Path's just down there. It's a short ways off the flat path. Find these rocky outcroppings. I'm sure people who are familiar with this are probably familiar with this area too. You can kind of get behind this. See what's on the other side there. The bluffs go up from here. Circle me around.
Okay, so this is the western cottonmouth. This is the only aquatic pit viper in the whole world. Now these guys have a nasty reputation of being a super aggressive snake, and they're really not that aggressive. And how they get that reputation is they sit and wait. Like even if you're walking past them, they will just sit there, so a lot of people step on them. And they open a mouth, which this guy hasn't done yet, but when on the ground they get feel threatened, they open a mouth, and that's where the name cottonmouth comes from. They have just a cotton white mouth. It's so awesome. Now this guy looks a lot like a bunch of little water snakes you can find in Indiana and this whole like side of the US, like eastern and northern. But this guy has a V-shaped head. I'm always talking about that with like the northern water snakes and stuff. And this guy has that V-shaped head that they don't. Another thing is, he has an awesome stripe that runs down the side of his face on each side, which is like a black underlined with like a kind of whitish color. Awesome snake. This is my favorite snake, the water moccasin, also known as the cottonmouth, and they have a lot of names. The gap mouth, the trap mouth, but it's an awesome snake. Now, water moccasins are pretty popular in marshy areas like where we are now, on Snake Road, because the Mississippi overflow and the Big Muddy River have these big marshes right behind us. And so that's where a lot of fruit comes from, frogs and fish, which is the primary fruit source. So this is a perfect habitat for them. And the reason that Snake Road is what it is they come out of these marshes, come across this road, which we're on right here, and go into these rocky bluffs where they hibernate behind us, and then that happens in the fall, which right now it's October, and that's what they're doing. And early spring, they come out of the bluffs and into the swamps. It's an awesome snake. When they're young, they have a bright color to them, and bright patterns. As they get older, that pattern turns more like this guy, and it starts to get darker. The babies have a yellowish tail when they're young.
Last year. One timber.
There's no masaguas in this area, right?
So they're coming out of the swamp behind us, coming into these bluffs here, just like these guys back here. This is where they go to hibernate through the whole winter and come back out in the spring, go right back to the swamps. Western cottonmouths.
Those are the cottonmouths.
Like a bounty for that.
You're talking like 100 years ago or so, right?
Yeah, like that's where they came.
I didn't realize really till this year just how fragile rattlesnakes are, because in Brown County there's a nice population in Indiana and Brown counties, and we've seen a couple there. But the rangers, they say that it's tough on them if you relocate them because they tend to go to the same places, hibernate, they don't wander far.
To Snake Road, and we're gonna hike the railroad track right there. It's 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock here in Southern Illinois. And we'll hike that railroad track. We should see king snakes, copperheads, maybe water moccasins. And it says ringneck snakes there. And then around 1 to like 3, we'll go down to Snake Road again and try to find more stuff. You see what I mean about these? Big shoots of 10 almost. Gotta flip it real quick. That didn't work out so well.
What the?
Big rat. Pretty sure you saw that probably.
That was
So what I have here is a western ribbon snake. Now it's a really cool snake. It's got these bright stripes on it. It's all black. You can just see how beautiful the snake is. It's a really cool snake. This looks a lot like the eastern garter snake that we have back in Indianapolis. But the easiest way to tell them apart is a white dot on the top of the head. Probably see it good right there where his head was up. A little white dot on the top of the head. The garter snakes don't have that. Just look at this dude's colors, the bright yellow stripe, it's like shiny black. It's an awesome snake. It's a really slender snake too. It's almost just like a string. I mean, it's unlike the snakes that are muscular and stuff. This snake really just has a slender, skinny body, a long tail. It's an awesome snake.
That one.
Let's try this lens and see if we can get it close up.
Oh, I like that. Not bad.
Okay. Line up the red. The red.
Near here.
Gotcha. Alright, then put that on. Oh. Did you have a lens on this one? Might be able to push that thing from where you're standing right now.
You can see the entire, well, he started on the other side, which is going to the street. Yeah. We got in our harness and our we went into.
Alright, this is the western cottonmouth. The babies have a yellow tail, which you can't really see on him. The one over there you can, but what happens is they'll use their yellow tail and they'll be like in a leaf litter or something like that, and they'll stick that tail up and they'll wiggle it or something like that, trying to make it look like an insect for a lizard or something like that. When the lizard comes, he comes and eats it. They're amazing animals. They have hemotoxic venom, which means they destroy your tissue and your blood cells and your muscles. And it's probably more painful than neurotoxic, which is from cobras and things like that, they attack your nervous system and they're much quicker, a lot faster venom. Whereas these guys are a lot more painful. Now they are related to the copperheads, which are the smaller cousins and less venomous of the cousins. The reason why they're called cottonmouths is if you provoke them, they'll stand their ground and they'll open their mouth, which you'll see the white lining across their mouth. We're here in Snake Road and it's fall, and there's a swamp over there, and then we got the rocky outcroppings here. Now what happens is copperheads, cottonmouths,